At Devoted Law, we want to educate you. There are forces at play like large insurance companies and major corporations that thrive if you're left in the dark.
Protecting your kids. E-bike safety tips.
Brought to you by Devoted Law.
So here at Devoted Law, we're heavily invested in protecting our community, and we help people obviously recover money after they've suffered an injury a number of different ways, but we also want to provide information to the community that can help protect them. Unfortunately, in our community, accidents are going to happen, but there are things that you can do to help minimize the risk or lessen the impact of the injury. So in today's video, we want to help parents know what best to do for their children in regards to e-bikes. You may or may not know what to do, but we want to provide some additional tips that can help mitigate the risk of injury to your children. First piece of advice is not all helmets are created equal. Obviously, most parents know that their children should be wearing a helmet while they're riding an e-bike. This is the standard that you should always make sure your children, when they leave on an e-bike, they're wearing some type of helmet. But every helmet is situated for a different type of activity. So for example, having your kid ride an e-bike going over 20 miles an hour and they're wearing a skateboard helmet might not offer them the level of protection that they should have to help mitigate injuries if they were involved in an accident. The best form of a helmet that you should provide to your children would be one that has MIPS technology. So MIPS. You want to look for the yellow dot on the back of the helmet to make sure your child has that type of protection while they're riding their e-bike that is moving at significant speeds faster than a skateboard or a regular standard bicycle.
Tip 2.
Okay, make sure you teach your kids that having multiple passengers on the e-bike is super sketchy and not very safe. Normally, you wouldn't see 3 or 4 kids on a motorcycle going down the street, but sometimes you'll see a number of kids riding on one single e-bike. Make sure that if there is an additional passenger, it's only one, and that they're also wearing a helmet and that they feel comfortable riding with an additional passenger. Not all kids can handle an e-bike at those speeds with an additional passenger on the bicycle. Third piece of advice, make sure you and your child knows the difference between a recreational e-bike and a Sur-Ron. Traditional e-bikes and Sur-Rons might look similar. A Sur-Ron definitely goes a lot faster and is used more for off-road capabilities. They look really cool and kids tend to want to ride those, but they're actually illegal on the streets here. And they are much more dangerous to ride, especially in urban communities rather than in open fields in rural areas. Even if your child has a normal e-bike, their friend group might be riding on Sur-Rons, and your child will likely want to jump on those bikes, check them out. Just make sure to have a conversation with them so they understand the difference between the two. Piece of advice number 4, make sure you and your child understand what a governor is. These kids are tricky and they know that if they take a governor off, that'll make their bike go a lot faster and they want to get to school and places a lot quicker. So a lot of them are tempted to remove the governor, but that should be something that you discuss with your child. I would recommend not removing the governor. The kids' e-bikes are already quick enough. Talk to your children about it and make sure the governor's on and remains at standard speeds. Piece of advice number 5, remember that your children are not just small adults. Their brains are still evolving and they're still learning, and they don't have the experience that you have as an adult. So you can never talk to your children too much about the dangers and the things that they might experience while out riding their e-bikes. So piece of advice number 6, make sure that the bike has regular maintenance. With the kids still learning how to manage the items that you provide to them, you want to make sure that the bikes are being regularly maintained. So the brakes, the tires, the batteries, you want to make sure that they're being checked on, that you're teaching your children how to maintain the bikes. That will allow them the experience that they need to become competent adults later and learn management in keeping their items safe and clean and risk-free from malfunction. So make sure that you are discussing those things and you're checking yourself with your children's bikes that, again, the brakes are in proper condition, the tires have enough tread on them so when they do stop, they're stopping quickly, and that the batteries are in good condition so they're not potentially blowing up and causing a fire.
This is actual footage of an e-bike battery exploding. For heaven's sake, maintain your bikes, please.
Tip number 8 is even if your child's a really good e-biker and they do well out on the road, the thing that they can't control are the vehicles around them. That's more the danger to your child when they're out in an urban area, or all the other drivers and whatever they're going through that day that could cause significant risk to your child while they're riding. So it's really important that your child has a working light on their e-bike so that they can be seen. Maybe put some reflective tape on the e-bike so at night it can be seen. And you just want them to be as visible as possible so that they're not in danger by the other vehicles that surround them. And finally, kids are always going to want to be on their phone even when they're riding their e-bikes. So make sure that you talk to your children about the importance to not be on their phone while they're traveling. You can't over communicate that enough. And check their phones and make sure that there are alerts that will let the child know that while they're driving they shouldn't be on their phone, or even better, an app that would stop the phone from working while it's in motion going over a certain speed. So at Devoted Injury Lawyers, we know how important independence is for our kids to be out there on the road and learning how to adapt and evolve as they grow older and ride e-bikes and then transition to vehicles. We just want to provide you with some tips that will help make our community safer. We know accidents happen, and when they do, we hope you entrust us, but ultimately we rather and prefer that they do not happen or exist, and we want our community to be safe. So that's really the win for all of us, and we hope you take these tips to heart and educate, and more importantly, just speak to your children about it if you have an e-bike or if you're considering getting them an e-bike. Please let us know if there's been anything that you've done that has or hasn't worked when discussing e-bike safety with your children, and let us know what can be done. Let the other parents know what they could do that you think would help benefit our community in regards to e-bike safety. Subscribe to Devoted Law's YouTube channel if you want to be informed and empowered with your legal right.